Okay, ready? Watch closely. Let's unbox this thing. Hey everyone, it's Kevin here, and today I'm going to be talking about the Sonos One speakers. Sonos is one of the first companies that started the entire smart speaker revolution, and the Sonos One is its second generation entry-level speaker with Alexa built right in. I got two of these speakers for $350 with the promo that Sonos is running right now, and stay tuned to see whether or not I think they're worth the price. I'm going to jump in by talking about sound quality first because it is a speaker after all. Each Sonos One has one tweeter and one midwoofer, and they're each powered by a Class D amplifier. Overall, the sound of the Sonos One is totally pleasing to the ear, and the first thing that struck me was how rich and full the bass sounded in such a small form factor. The mid and high tones are equally as clear, but what I've noticed is that the sound signature of the bass changes drastically between low volumes versus high volumes. At low volumes, you can tell that the speaker is having no problem pumping out bass because the sound is rich and smooth and very resonant. But as you increase the volume, the sound of the bass becomes more punchy rather than resonant, if that makes sense. It's an interesting phenomenon, and it's only something that I noticed more recently when I was listening more closely to the sound quality. For casual listening, I think the speaker sounds great. For something like a party, the speakers are more than adequate at producing enough sound. Sonos also allows you to connect two of these speakers as a stereo pair, so you get true stereo sound separation between the speakers. And when you do this, I think the sound quality increases dramatically. And this is for three reasons. First, that stereo sound allows for a more surround sound and immersive experience. Second, the sound also just becomes more balanced at all volumes, and I don't really notice the bass issue nearly as much as if I just had one of these speakers. And finally, more volume is possible as a result of the speakers being paired together. So I think the Sonos One sounds great by itself, but I think having two Sonos Ones makes the experience much better. The Sonos One has a sleek, minimalist design that looks great in my opinion. Both colors have a subtle matte finish with a little bit of shine, but I think I prefer the look of the white one over the black one. I think the speakers are understated enough to fit into any environment, and they're also small enough so you can pretty much put them anywhere without any restrictions. Additionally, there are nice rubber feet on the bottom so the speaker stays solidly in place, and there is a super responsive touchpad at the top of the speaker that has really satisfying sounds. Take a listen. So overall, the speaker feels solid, looks solid, and sounds solid. Alright, now let's talk about what the speaker is like to use. Sonos speakers work by connecting to your Wi-Fi network. Then, when your device, like your phone or tablet or laptop, is connected to the same Wi-Fi network, you'll automatically be able to go into the Sonos app and play the music directly to your Sonos speakers. Since the speakers connect directly with the Wi-Fi network, you can walk as far away from the speakers as you want with your device, and the audio connection will never get cut out. So setting up the speaker is a multi-step process, but Sonos does a good job of walking you through every step of that process. Sonos has this feature called TruePlay, which automatically tunes the speaker's EQ based on its surroundings and its position in the room. Setting up TruePlay takes a couple minutes, including 1 minute of waving your phone around in circles while walking around the room, while the speaker plays this futuristic laser sound. It's definitely an interactive experience, although I could totally do without this part of the tuning process. The app is sleek, optimized for the iPhone X, and pretty easy to use. The app allows you to sign into pretty much every major streaming service there is out there, including Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, etc. The app also allows you to control the music and the volume playing in each room. So if you have a speaker in the living room and a speaker in the bedroom, you can change the music accordingly within each room, and you can also adjust the volume. The experience of, changing speakers and adjusting the volume is really fluid and really responsive. So I really like that. And if you're playing the same music throughout your entire household, it's really cool to walk from room to room and not have the sound fade away when you change rooms. You can also control your speakers directly within the Spotify app, although it's not as full featured as it is in the Sonos app. The biggest advantage that Sonos and other smart speakers have over Bluetooth speakers is that you're always paired to the speaker as long as you're connected to the same Wi-Fi network. So there's a lot fewer steps between me getting home to me actually listening to music. With Bluetooth, I'd have to turn the speaker on, and I'd have to go through a pairing process if I was connected to a different device previously. And once paired, sometimes that connection was a little buggy, so I would have to restart the speaker or turn off the Bluetooth and turn back on the Bluetooth of my phone, and then I could finally start playing music. But for the Sonos speaker, all I have to do is walk into my apartment, open the Sonos app, and press play, and the music starts playing immediately. It's that simple. Alexa integration on the Sonos is definitely a plus. I can use it to control the lights throughout my apartment, ask it about the weather, and things like that, so it's pretty much made my Echo Dot useless. There's even a microphone mute button to make sure Alexa doesn't hear you when you don't want it to. By far the biggest downfall with Sonos speakers and other connected speakers is that you can't stream anything that you want, and this is potentially a deal breaker for me. With Bluetooth, I could, stream music from YouTube or watch videos on YouTube, and I could also watch all my Netflix shows straight from my computer or from my phone. But with the Sonos speaker, I'm not able to do any of that. There are definitely some third-party apps out there that allow you to stream anything you want from your computer to your speaker through an AirPlay-like experience, but there is a huge lag there. I think it's like 4 or 5 seconds, so it's definitely not viable when you're watching video. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for AirPlay 2 to come to the Sonos One, and that could potentially bring the capability to stream anything I want from my MacBook. But for now, it's kind of limited to just music. Okay, so how does the Sonos One stack up against the Apple HomePod? Well, I think the Sonos has multiple advantages against the HomePod. The Sonos One has integration with other streaming services besides Apple Music, while the HomePod is only limited to Apple Music. However, you are able to AirPlay anything that you want from your Apple devices to your HomePod. That brings me to my next point, which is the HomePod is only compatible with Apple devices. So any Android users or any PC users, you're out of luck. As of this recording, HomePods can't be connected into stereo pairs. Finally, the Sonos is just much cheaper than the HomePod. So I got 2 Sonos speakers for the price of 1 HomePod, and that's kind of a big deal. And I think even if Sonos stops this promotion, you can still buy 2 Sonos speakers for $400, which is only $50 more than 1 HomePod. However, the HomePod does have some advantages over the Sonos. So the HomePod sounds better, and also the HomePod is much easier to set up initially. With the sound quality, I think it's not that big of a deal. People usually won't really notice the difference between a HomePod and Sonos. And with the pairing, that only happens in the initial stages, so I also don't think that's a big deal. So when it all boils down, I think having 2 Sonos Ones is much better than having just 1 HomePod. Okay, so do I think the Sonos One is worth the price? Well, if you're a tech enthusiast or someone who's looking to set up speakers throughout your household, then I think by far the Sonos One is worth the price. It does require some initial setup, but once everything is in place, it's really easy and really intuitive to use. However, if you're just looking for something for more casual listening and something that you just want to stream, Netflix, TV shows, and YouTube videos to, then I think you're better off buying a Bluetooth speaker because you can stream anything you want and it'll probably be cheaper. Okay, so that's it for this video. Like all reviews, I definitely did not cover all the bases. So if you think I missed anything glaring, please let me know in the comment section down below. Otherwise, if you liked it, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and that's a wrap.